Greetings, everyone. It's me, Jeffrey. uh, I'm making this video after receiving a great idea to talk about my transition plant diet, which I mentioned in my first intro video. And what made it even better is that I wanted to take it out into nature. And here we are. This is literally my backyard. Well, it's kind of the upper part of the hill. I live on a hillside. So that's it. Probably will do a little bit of touring to show me going back down to where my house is. But aside from that, so back to what I was about to talk about. Don't mind the windy noise. It's quite windy today, actually. Yes. By the way, I'm feeling better now. I've been much better than last time in my first video. So thumbs up for that. And now, in terms of transitioning from a plant-based diet, it's an interesting concept because you see that it's essentially happening all across the world right now with the increase in consciousness, and overall yet another huge proof of the shift is this shift from the lower vibrational desire of wanting animal-based food to more of a plant-based food. And the reason is very simple why that's such a natural thing for most people, because some people think that it's just something that they're following and that it has nothing to do with consciousness or anything that is not, something that people following the next best thing, or this is popular now, or that's popular. Well, this time, this one has a reason for being so popular now, and getting increasingly popular all across the globe, where people are taking more interest in plant-based diets, because truth is that the most basic thing that anyone would have learned from the earliest science classes, that plants are the first ones to basically make food for all animals, and they make that food from taking energy directly from the sun. And you know that the sun is basically our main power source. So if we have the plants fixing all that energy directly from the sun, the most important thing in terms of eating food is to get the energy from the food, right? So you put 1 plus 2 together, and you realize that plants provide way more energy and way more of the most essential nutrients to animals, including us as humans. And that's like the most basic reason why you see the transition. And people don't understand that we never really started off with eating other beings, eating other sentient beings. At most, if that was participated back in times of, say, Lemurian Atlantis, those times wouldn't have involved any form of being, that any form of animal type being that would have just consented to that. It'd probably be like, say, talking plants or something like that, which is not even a big deal, because plants are already telepathic. So that's what I mean. But my point here is that for me, I started off just like any 90s kid who had that kind of diet back then. Yeah, some may not have been that lucky to have any form of spoiling, say in terms of the food, we're eating a lot of junk food, pastries, because I started off with meat as well as other things that were more animal based, as well as the junk food, the toxic stuff, all that lowered my consciousness that I came to Earth with, that I incarnated with, to the point where I would reject plant food altogether, which is why you see babies, or at least little toddlers, at least back in the day, when that was a common thing, where they'd say that, oh, little children don't like to eat their veggies and all those things. Well, no crap. They don't like to eat their veggies because their consciousness has been lowered, and they've been immediately programmed by the first thing they consume, which wasn't even organic to begin with. It was either some form of toxic baby food or something meat based, which would also contain its own toxins. So that's what most of, at least my generation from the 90s, and even before that, in the past, say, 50 to 60 years or so, and beyond that, long beyond that, in other countries. But now that developing countries were so-called catching up to the developed, just there's a lot of quotations all around, because these terms are just the exact opposites. But anyway, because of that, well, then the consciousness from needing to eat meat so constantly started to spread here, because even in Jamaica we started off more with plant-based diets rather than animal-based. There was more of a balance though, but definitely more plants. There was certainly more plants involved in our diets here, back in the olden days of our grandparents here, and slavery days and all those things. So anyway, back to me now. My changes didn't happen until, you could say, around 2008. That's when I officially noticed that my diet was starting to actually tolerate, because before that time I couldn't even tolerate the taste of any form of vegetable or ground provision crop, or just some fruits. For example, avocado. I couldn't even stand avocado, even though now I love it to death. So you understand what I'm talking about there. So from that point on, I realized that my diet was certainly changing to not only accommodate those, but to move further and further away from the more processed stuff, fast foods, all of that. It just started happening automatically as my consciousness started to naturally raise on its own. So, well, that'll explain that. But the whole thing, though, is still a choice, because I still do eat some level of meat, though I'm at the point where I can just fully choose whether or not I want to eat any meat at all. And to be honest, eating meat for me, it really does get to me, and it has a bad effect on me right away. Right away, it has a bad effect on me, with raising my acidity content, and it doesn't make it any easier for me, because my blood type is O plus. So naturally my body's already acidic because of my blood type and all those things. So switching to more plants, but at the same time, and also because of my blood type, I can't really cut out plants altogether. So I actually still need to eat some level of meats, but not as constantly as before. Oh, trust me. In my past, I consume meats every single day. Every single day, meats and other form of animal-based foods, worse processed ones. And let me tell you, the amount of times I used to go to KFC and buy their meals, yeah, you get the idea. I really, I was just immersed in all of that bad eating. But now I feel so much better with transitioning more to accommodate more plants in my diet, especially with using various plants, which I'm blessed with being here in Jamaica. You could say that there's a medicinal plant literally at every corner you walk. There's literally a medicinal plant right there on the sidewalk. I even said it the other day that there no disease should even exist here because we have the cure for, we essentially have the cures for every single disease aside from the main cure, which is just oxygenating your blood and raising your body pH, which is the cure for many things, to improve your self-healing mechanism, and that's that. So it's wonderful. It really is a wonderful transition. So acknowledge that all of this is a choice. So who chooses to eat meat? The way I look at it, I don't even bother to judge either side. The ones who say they still want to eat meat and the ones who say they'll never eat meat again and only will stick to plants because of XYZ. The point here is that we're all just choosing what we wanted to do, consume, because a lot of people are completely unaware that we are actually making agreements with these very organisms, both the plants and the animals, to consume them, because essentially they're actually equal in terms of, if you're considering their feelings, and if they get hurt and all that, you're basically going to be feeling an equivalent level of the same thing. So the whole debate about, well, the animals will suffer so much. Well, what about the plants? The plants protect themselves for a reason. So there you go. But anyway, that's it for my talk. Until the next one, everyone. Peace out.